Okay, we're live.
We're horizontal.
Look at us go.
I can't move much. There's a delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will just
For
hang
everyone
out.
watching this right now, we're not live. We were live. But you're watching this later, which means we're not live because nobody's here.
Oh, somebody's here.
Oh, okay. Except hi to the person. Welcome, person. And I'll repeat this many times throughout the thing. Whoever joins us, please drop a comment. Say where you are in the world, something about you. Otherwise, we just have like nameless numbers of people watching. I don't like that. Say hi. Of some nature. I don't really care. Just so we know.
All right, what do we want to talk about while we wait for people to show up? We're alive.
Yeah, we'll give people. It usually takes a few minutes for people to sort of figure it out and chime in. Well, let's see. Today's Sunday. Sunday, we typically will do the big market in Zaza. We did a video on that. It's worth checking out. It's pretty. There's a good selection of food. We really enjoy the market. It's the best prices too. If you go to the other central markets, which are every day of the week, you're going to pay a third more.
And the quality's lesser.
And the quality's less. It's sort of picked over. It's sort of so we do that. We buy our fruits and our vegetables. Today was interesting because there's a lot of vendors were missing. Voting day. I don't know how long it takes to get the voting results.
No, voting here is mandatory for citizens.
It is.
So it is a kind of a bigger deal, and it's very short. Like it's one day.
Yeah,
or you have to vote on that day.
Yeah, and it's only like a month or two of campaigning. Like it's also short. We don't have to as permanent residents. We have the option to, but we're not required to as a citizen. There's a lot of being a permanent resident, but not a citizen. We sort of get to live in the no man's land between two countries, and
it's kind of strange.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, we also weren't entirely sure we were going to make it today. It is
so
officially the rainy season.
The rainy season is roaring in like a lion. We've never seen the River Zamora, which is the big one down the street. We've never seen it so big.
So full.
Like we look under the bridge and we're like, that water's close. All the trees on the side, all their branches are like deep in the water.
Our little road is less than stellar.
They just came and patched it up. There was big rain a week ago, and we lost our river crossing. There's total I don't know, more than 2 feet. Just wow. Like, well, we're not getting the van over that. It's like a square edge cut on one side. So they came and they like did a hot fix on it. It's not lasting. It's already like massively eroding with rain since then, and now we've got up and down our road just sloughs of like old trees and clay and things. And we got another section of road that is a real concern. If there's garbage on the road, they'll come out and they'll just clear it off. But there's
or we
one
can even
section,
clear it off, honestly.
We've done it. We've gone out there with
we
shovels.
We did it on the way home.
Yeah, for like 4 hours and like packed ourselves a vanny-sized hole. It's doable. But there's a section of road where it's like this, and the road is there, and this side is eroding from water going over it, and it's undermining and then falling, and it's getting skinnier.
That's a much harder fix.
Well, like if you look uphill, it's really steep there, so it's not like you can just like cut a little more. It's
no, then it'll cause a landslide on
Yeah,
that side.
well, you've got like 50 foot of wall to like cut in. Ugh. So there's that. Rainy season. Rainy season's a good time.
Hi, Mom. My mom's on me.
Oh.
Hi, Mom.
All right. Yeah. Everybody else, whoever's on the stream, say hi. Say where in the world you're watching from, at least. Except your mom. We know where your mom is, mostly. Unless she goes somewhere.
No, she doesn't go places.
She does. She takes vacation. She went to like...
It's nighttime. It's evening.
I mean, in a larger sense. Like, she went to like Europe or something.
Yes, it's true.
Could be somewhere. I give her the benefit of the doubt. So that's Sunday. Pretty normal Sunday. We did spend, as we have been for the past several weeks, a significant amount of time dealing with Mrs. Piggles, who is not good. Mrs. Piggles has not moved in, well, I mean, she's moved. But
not in any sort of intentional and directional way.
She went down and she's been there. And we're hand feeding her and hand watering her, and like she's even helping her pee because it's not working right. And then she just keeps having problems, or she has like a wound and bug infestations and a thing and something to something.
It's rough.
It's rough.
She is struggling.
She's still fighting. She's been down for weeks. But at least we're getting some food and liquid in her, which didn't happen for a couple weeks. So.
And she seemed to, we got the infection she had kicked.
Whatever was the original problem, we seem to have kicked. But now, yeah.
All the secondary stuff?
All the secondary, and she's just not able to even upright. So, significant amount of time dealing with that.
It's rough. Yeah.
It's rough. Sick animals is a rough one, especially when it's a pig out in the nature.
A pig who doesn't really like us all that much.
She doesn't like anyone all that much.
She doesn't. She's a very independent pig.
She's happy being alone. She's happy just doing her thing. She has her own pension. Totally fine. She's not a social pig. Unless she's forced to.
Yeah. It's true. What else have we been up to? We got a roof on part of the house.
We got a roof.
Yay!
The roof is like a huge thing.
It's so cool to go up and work on the house in the rain.
It's pouring rain. We're like,
we can still work.
Nice.
It's awesome.
So it's not the whole house, but there were some people that generously donated some money to the cause, and we used some of it for food and some of it to pay our internet bill, so people can keep seeing us. And then some of it went to the roof, which is hugely appreciative. So we now have a section of the house that we are all of a sudden making more rapid progress on walls and doors and windows and floors and stuff.
Yeah. I made a nest.
It'll make an upcoming video. My wife has built a bird nest.
It's a good bird nest.
It's literally a bird nest in the bathroom.
Yeah.
She's nesting.
Yeah.
Let me explain. So we have a bathroom walls, which is just wattle at this point. And she really wants a wattle and daub sink, which is the finishing is called Cadillac, which makes it all waterproof. So you build it out of wattle, which is sticks, and then you daub it, and then you finish it. So she's got all these
what I'm doing.
Sticks to make like a big swoopy counter, and now she's like laying out for the bowl, which is going to be the sink. And she did big sticks and then medium sticks, and now she's doing like little tiny twigs, and it looks for all the world like a bird nest. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like this and that. And I'm like, use your theme song, your song of power. And she's like, what is that? Sorry, the bird nest. It seemed appropriate.
Oh boy.
Anyway, we'll make it an upcoming video once it's. I mean, I guess we'll get some video of it being a bird nest, and then we'll go a little further.
And hopefully it turns into a thing.
Yeah. Oh, look, we lost people talking about bird nesting. They didn't really want to be here. We're happy to take questions from people.
Yeah.
Whoever's left. So please feel free to ask us questions.
About anything? Which
will be more than half of the content of this live. We're happy to answer questions about things here.
Yeah.
Whether you're interested in Ecuador or homesteading or
whatever random questions.
Yeah. Unless it's about frogs or moss or mushrooms, and then the kid's gone to bed. he's the one on that.
What else are we up to?
What else
We're still recovering from being sick.
So yeah, we were sick.
We were down for
like
a good while.
I spent 3 days I didn't get out of bed, and that is weird for us. Ran a low-grade fever for a better part of a week, and then went down. Literally went down.
Yep, yeah, you did.
Had a small momentary loss of consciousness.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
No. Febrile seizures are a real thing. Luckily, I did not fall down the stairs because someone was lovingly not letting me fall back down the stairs. I was trying to make it to bed. I needed like 20 more seconds. But I started feeling really weird, and I'm like, oh, I'm nauseous. I'm like headed.
This was after you're like, oh yeah, we can drive an hour to get to the market because it was a Sunday.
I can drive half dead with an arm cut off. Driving is easy.
Yes, but not if you pass out.
This was the problem. So I just and then I felt every pore in my body start to tingle, and I'm like, whoa, I'm getting really hot. I'm like, I just need to go back to bed. And I was really trying not to, but I pushed it about 30 seconds further than I should have, and I didn't make it. Yeah.
Sickness is not exactly fun.
So that was the thing. What else we got going on? Well, there's a bat in the freezer.
It's a vampire bat in my freezer.
My wife is unpleased about the vampire bat in the freezer.
I mean,
it's not a normal
container. It's
in
fine,
a soup pot.
But
we were out dealing with that. Eli's like, oh, there's a tree that's gonna fall in the pig area, and it may hit a fence. And I'm like, all right, well, better we take it down than it takes itself down.
Takes fence with it, and then we have to clean that up.
So I march up there with the chainsaw, and I fire up the chainsaw, and it's loud, and all of a sudden I look, and there's a bat on the ground scurrying away from me.
He just yells bat, and I'm like, what?
The pig area right now is mud. There's not a lot of
ID places.
And I'm like, what? Was it under there's some logs? I'm like, was it under a log or something? And it's running away. It's not flying. But it scampered away pretty quick and then went and hid under a different log. And I'm like, did I scare it with the chainsaw? So I yelled bat, and she's like, what? And I'm like, bat!
I just couldn't process what you're talking about.
Hit it with a stick!
Okay. That's the answer I had.
This is the woman who makes fun of boys and always poking it with a stick. She's like, oh, boys, I always have to poke it with a stick.
I didn't ask you to poke it, I asked you to kill it.
I poked it with a stick.
Really hard. Now, if you missed this, we have a video about vampire bats.
Yeah.
And
Batman.
We don't want them.
No, they're not. They're not friends.
No.
So anyway, we find this one, and it's just running through the area, and I'm like, I'm not letting you get away. I don't know what your deal is. You shouldn't be here. That's weird.
It's daytime.
You're
not flying.
So you're either sick or injured or
something's wrong.
So I whacked it with a stick. And then I got some pliers, and I picked it up with pliers because it could have rabies, legitimately. And then I called Batman, and Batman was like, "Oh, that's
weird."
Yeah, he goes, "That's weird." He goes, "We should send it for testing." I'm like, "Yeah." How do I do that? And he's like, "I'll come pick it up." That's cool. So he's coming Wednesday to get the bat out of our freezer.
So he's like, "Oh yeah, just put it in the freezer."
But otherwise, he has to come and set up nets and things and stuff, and it's a big deal to try to catch a bat to send for testing. Freebie. Free bat.
Just there.
Yeah. That's great.
Question. Do you use DE or anything for parasites in your livestock?
Yes.
In a perfect world, I would love to use a more natural approach. Being in the tropics, parasites are a big problem. So
Eli does when he changes out the wood shavings in the animal houses. He has a little shaker bottle. He'll sprinkle a little DE on top of the shavings, and that does keep some of the bugs.
Well, in the house, but most of the parasites they get are from grass.
No, right? Yeah. So the ones we have the real problem with, and we just talked about them in our last video, the 3 things that nobody tells you about for homesteading. Bot flies.
Yeah, I guess that's technically sort of a
DE
parasite.
DE doesn't affect them. They're gross. They're nasty. They're horrible. I would refer you to that video. That's actually the most commented thing on our video is the bot flies. Yeah.
As far as internal parasites,
We've rubbed it on the dog, the DE.
yeah,
Back when we got him, he had fleas.
that kind of helped.
It helped.
Yeah. But as far as internal parasites, we do use ivermectin and
Febendazole.
or albendazole.
Yeah, the other analog albendazole. Just depending. One of them is safe for pregnant goats, and one is not.
And we literally have to look it up every time because we forget which one is which, and then we're like, we should go check.
Yeah.
We do use that, and we use it for ourselves too.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Because
parasites happen, and there's actually there's some researcher that started a new medical thing. It's a little private like healthcare thing in the U.S. And they talk about it. They're like, so we have people that come to us with all sorts of crazy medical problems that none of it makes any sense, and we're like, we're just going to check you for parasites. And they run a stool sample, and they're like, it's 100%.
Everybody has them.
Everybody has parasites, but nobody. There used to be in human medical practice, there was a standard anti-parasite regimen. You do it every so often. You are hard pressed to find any anti-parasite now in any drugstore, or have any doctor recommend it to you,
or even allow you to take it.
Right. So there's all the immunizations and things of stuff that you might never get, like your baby's ever going to get Hep C, right?
But everybody has parasites.
And they cause problems, and they cause weird inflammation, and they cause.
Yeah.
There's no side effects to it. It doesn't hurt. It's not dangerous.
Here it's really cheap to get.
It's cheap.
And available.
Yeah, because parasites here are more common. People don't have filtered water supplies.
Well, also just tropical places, nothing dies in the winter.
Oh yeah,
like it's just
so all the water sources. Of course, the water sources all have parasites, and we sterilize it. But people here, no, they'll put a hose up in a beautiful mountain stream, and it comes down all the way to the valley to their house. That's it. They don't filter it. They don't purify it. They don't chlorinate it. They do in Loja in some of the big cities. They go through a whole water treatment, but then they pump it through lines that are full of holes, and occasionally the pressure turns off and they run out of water, and the whole system resucks air in from wherever it leaks. Which, of course, in the U.S., as soon as there's a pressure drop, that's a boil water alert.
There are no boil water.
No, there's just no water, which means it's totally not sanitary again. That happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, DE. We do use it. We go and we sprinkle it out. It helps. We put it on the garden beds, and it will reduce the bug population.
It seemed to really help with the termites.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of termites that came, like when I cleaned out our compost to use it, and I realized part of the composting is all the creatures. Well, that's termites, and I don't want the termites in the garden because I know they'll eat certain things. I know they eat the sweet potatoes. I don't want them. So I de-eat it. It kind of just went away.
Termites, it turns
seems
out,
to work well on them.
Well, there's a lot of them, and they're fairly insidious. They're everywhere. They're fragile. They're fragile creatures, and they're fairly easy to kill, which is good because we can't be using boric in the gardens. You get too much boron concentration. We don't really want to just keep spraying pesticides all the time.
Nope.
So the DE helps there. It knocks those down. Carpenter ants are the next one. They're
really annoying.
We call them red butts.
They have red butts.
They're red butts. Yeah. And every piece of every ground, everywhere you could go and pull the shovel up, and it's full of red butts. They're annoying.
They're so annoying. I got bit by one today.
Carpenter
ants. It was in the house, and I'm like, why are there ants? Why?
So the DE helps for those.
Really, the only thing that we seriously struggle with are ants of many varieties. All the varieties. Ants. I've never known that there were so many types of ants.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The big ones though, the Amazonian giant ants.
They're so big.
They don't ever bug us. They'll watch us sometimes though. They'll crawl up the tree and just mug on us for a while, and I'm like, hey, and then they're like run around to the backside of the tree.
Some of the ants here have far too much intelligence and awareness.
We could write a book on conspiratorial ants. Now, that's not their real name.
We can't figure out what they are.
But they are freakishly smart. They understand when they're being looked at. You gaze over here, they'll do their thing. You turn your gaze towards them, they'll freeze. You intently look at them, they will run behind something and hide. They're 5 feet away. How do you have that kind of awareness, of vision of like, that I am literally aware of you? And then they get together in weird groups.
And that's why we call them the conspiratorial ants, because they conspire.
They conspire.
Little groups. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
And they'll sit there and they'll like wait until you like go to bed, and then they like come out and do it.
Oh yeah, they only come out at night usually. When I go, because I'm the last one up.
And
when I go to bed, and they know when I go to bed.
And if you change your normal bedtime,
they change the time
they come out. They're very smart.
I come in to pee or something in the middle of the night, and they'll just be like, and they'll just freeze and look at me.
And then if you get too close,
I'm like, what are you?
They're conspiratorial ants. They're a weird, overly smart creature.
They did find their way into our tables. It was a terrible night.
We couldn't figure out where we just kept seeing it like appear on the.
And they were flying because they went through that cycle of.
It turns out that our table, like our actual like plastic Lifetime tables that we love so much, have little holes on the corners. And there's hollow around like the edges. And they were literally nesting in the table, which there is now aluminum tape over the holes.
Oh, ants. They're fun.
All right. Everyone on the stream, send a comment. Say hi. Say where you're watching from.
Ask questions.
We get a kick out of it. We like to know where our viewers are. And ask us some questions. Otherwise, we're just going to sit here and blabber on and ramble.
Us? Never.
Never.
Never, ever. Oh, boy. Still not well.
Still recovering. It's a weird recovery after this being sick. It's usually like I'm sick, and then there's like a day when I'm like sort of like okay, and then I noted like maybe one more day I'll be calm, and then I'm just great. No, I'm very incrementally regaining like momentum.
Yeah.
It's not like it may take me another week or two. Like it's weird.
Are there any crops that seem to be a challenge to grow in your area? Yes. Tomatoes, potatoes. I can't grow either of them.
I just saw an article, and it was talking about was it late blight? I sent it to you.
I didn't read it. Sorry.
Anyway, it was some researchers talking about, I think it was either early or late blight, and how it affects potatoes and different varieties, and how it basically causes a plague and it kills them all. And then they traced back the genealogy of the mold to the Andean mountains.
Yay!
Here. This is literally the home of the thing that kills the potatoes.
Yeah.
So, and then you have to get into, well, there's certain varieties that grow, although we haven't really found those because all of our potatoes come from somewhere else. So we haven't been able to like plant the good resistant ones yet.
Yeah. Potatoes just, I can't.
And same with tomatoes, like we get a plant going and like to different stages, things, and
it'll look really good, and then
it'll just turn black
and dies.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
We usually don't even get a tomato off of it. We've had a couple of plants. We've had like a handful.
But we just haven't dialed it in yet how to resolve it. Probably a greenhouse, but I don't really want to put everything in a greenhouse. So you have to water it, and it's just a pain.
It might have to be for those things a controlled environment.
Yeah.
So we struggle with those.
Yeah.
The garden has been massively improving every cycle. We give it a little more compost. We let things grow in it. The worms and things, the structure develops. And every time we plant,
my corn and sweet potatoes are looking really, really good.
They look fantastic.
So let's hope.
Yeah. And that plot is like the third time we've planted it, and every time the crop has gotten bigger. So it's just a lot of it is a matter of time, composting.
Oh, from Washington State.
Hey,
We know it well.
we know the Northwest.
Potatoes surprise me. There are so many types in Ecuador. I think they would be a home run. Mostly in cooler climates too. So you get into like your higher elevation, and I just don't think you have the same issues in those climates.
No, and most of our potatoes I think come from like Saraguro.
And sort of the higher elevation.
Yeah, there's a lot of produce comes from up there.
Yeah.
If you're in Washington State, I don't know where you are in Washington State. If you go to a place,
what you say?
If you go to a town called Cedro Woolley, which is a seedy little town, there's a place called the Potato Shed. It's a giant warehouse. They sell potatoes. They generally have a potato, and you can buy them in boxes. You can just walk up and buy the 50-pound boxes at the counter. Mostly, they ship them all over the world. They ship them to Japan. So they're called a satine.
Best potatoes ever.
I have never had a better potato anywhere in the world as the satines grown in Washington. And we were buying, I don't know, it was like $20 or something
I don't remember.
back then. And you can just walk up to the counter and the lady's real nice, and there's like giant tractor trailers pulling up onto all the sides, but she'll sell you just a box of potatoes.
Yep. Best potatoes.
But they ship a lot to Japan, and they sell for a huge amount of money because they're such an amazing, creamy and rich and delightful. It's not mealy.
Which I think is part variety, but I also think it's the soil. I think wherever they're growing it there is just better.
It's a good combo. So yeah, if you get the chance.
Another Washington State. Goodness.
We used to live in right near there. That was how we knew about that. But that was a super awesome. There's occasionally places I found in the States that are kind of a locals like super awesome find. There was down in south of Santa Cruz. If you're heading down Highway 1 from Santa Cruz in California, you turn up into not Sebastopol. I don't remember the name of the town. There's a little place called the Arcangeli Bakery. It's a town that has a defunct gas station and a bar and a motel and a bakery. A couple of houses. That's it. And my buddy took me there, and I'm like, dude, there's less people here than a deserted like Old West town or something. Anyway, so you go in, there's literally huge racks of fresh breads, like artisan breads being made. That is unbelievable. Like, for who? There's nobody here. It's a 2-horse town, and one of the horses died. Like, I have no idea, but occasionally people would just come in, show up and things, and I guess they ship a lot of it. But they would do just these crazy beautiful like rounds of bread, from rye to sourdoughs to the one that I liked was called an artichoke and herb. Now,
sounds so good.
What was interesting was Castroville, just past there, was the artichoke capital of the world. So they got the best artichokes. And then they would make this incredible bread round with marinated artichoke hearts, local herbs, and then on their little cooler thing that like drinks and things, and fresh garlic butter from a local bakery or local dairy. So you could get literally fresh garlic butter, and the garlic came from Gilroy, which was the garlic capital of the world, and the bread was still warm. Every time I went, like they had just rolled it out of the oven within half an hour. I'm like, I don't understand how you're selling hundreds of breads every hour, but they do. So bread, butter, thing, unbeatable. I've never had an equal in my life. But you have to go find the Arcangeli Bakery in this tiny little town in the middle of nowhere on the California coast. It's an hour from anything. Yeah.
That's so strange.
It's so strange. But the potatoes, we're foodies. Okay, maybe you haven't. We're big on the foods. So certain food experiences are very, very solid in my head. Oh, there's a lot of questions over there.
Mostly not questions.
Ask more questions.
I just think it's funny. Everybody so far here is either from Washington State or in some way attached to it. So the question is, does that mean everybody in Washington State wants to leave Washington State? Well, we did. Listen, it was a beautiful place. I miss much of the recreation. I did a lot of camping and road trips and traveling around the state. It's a beautiful place. However, it has its problems.
It has its problems.
Oh boy.
And it's not that it's turning ugly. It's just Yeah.
Yeah.
My particular problem was actually Thuja plicata, which is Western red cedar.
We literally had to leave.
We literally had to leave. It turns out because I was working with it at work and I had a severe exposure to it with the dust of Western red cedar while sanding it, I developed a chemical sensitivity that is apparently a thing that happens with plicatic acid. That is the thing in Western red cedar that makes bugs not eat it. That's why you can bury it in the ground and it never rots. You can use it in your closets and your wardrobes and bugs go away. Plicatic acid. But I developed a chemical sensitivity. Every exposure was worse than the last. It was going to lead to permanent asthma. My eyes developed cysts. I just felt like there was sand in them. Ugh. Every exposure got worse. There's no answer there. Like, you just have to flee.
Yeah.
Run away.
Yeah. There was no choice for us.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Oh, yeah, once blight is in the soil, it's there. Yep.
It's here. So we're looking for either resistant varieties. We had some luck spraying with copper.
Problem is, copper. It only works until it gets rained off, and then
you spray. I didn't catch a spray this week, and then
or you get sick, and
once the blight happens, the blight's there.
Yeah, my potatoes were doing well until I got sick, and then didn't spray them. And
and it's not like there's like heirloom seed catalogs here that you can order from. That's a bit of a tricky subject.
Yeah, as far as using straw, because that's the recommendation. There just isn't straw here. I'll use wood chips.
Yeah.
But it isn't... There's the splash up from the soil, which I can eliminate, but it's actually at the base of the stem next to the soil.
Yeah.
Is where the potatoes all die off.
Yep.
And I have not solved that problem yet.
Yeah, we've solved the splash problem, and then it prolongs them slightly, but you can't stop it. There's just too much here.
Mm.
So resistant varieties, if we could find them, eventually maybe we'll get lucky with a local neighbor or somebody here who has some, and we can trade for something else. Sky potato.
Sky potato's cool. I love sky potato.
Tell them about sky potato.
Sky potato. So instead of fighting to make the ground potatoes grow, we were at the market many months ago, and somebody had these weird knobby looking brown things. I don't know what the knobby looking brown thing is, but historically speaking, when we just bypass something because we have no idea what it is, we miss out on things like chayote. So
we actually are slow rolling a video of all the weird things that we've seen at the market that we bought. I don't know what that is. And then we bought it. A lot of them we really like. We've been working on it for many months. We have a lot of footage.
Yeah.
But, sorry.
So sky potatoes.
Yeah, it looks like these weird, like, it's a potato.
But it has like sharp corners.
Yeah.
Like, what are
you took a potato made of clay and smashed it with a brick. And it's got like
sharp edges and
like.
And so we try to have this conversation with the lovely woman who's selling them, and I only vaguely understand how to grow them, or really what they're going to be. And I don't really know. And actually, we put up a short on the YouTube, and someone gave us the name of it, and we're like, "Look!"
Was that the professor?
No.
Oh.
It was somebody. It was somebody else. It was and it's the air potatoes.
Yeah, it's the air potatoes. And we had cut them up like you would a potato to replant. No, you're not supposed to do that. Oh. Oops.
No, it worked.
You can?
Yeah, it worked fine.
And then they sat around for a long time.
I'd sort of given up on them because I'm like, I sort of screwed that up. I didn't do it right. I don't know what to do. And then one day I'm like, oh, it has like a 4-inch like sprout, like a vine. I'm like, I guess I should plant them.
As soon as they get wet and they touch soil, boom, they take off. And they're a vine. And you just put them next to a big tree. We'll put one next to under the guava.
It grows up a foot a day.
Yeah, the thing's going crazy. It's beautiful. So it's a big vining thing that grows up, and then it hangs. Sky potato.
It's so weird. And they do taste like potato.
They're actually a really nice. They're slightly denser.
Yeah.
They have a very nice. She cooks them and she like sticks it in my face. She's like,
"What do you think of that?" I wanted to try them and make sure you like them.
I trust her, but Woman, what'd you put in my face? This happens a lot. So it was actually really good. And I'm like, I like that. She's like, oh, good. I'm like, that would make a delicious potato chip too.
Yeah.
Because it's just a little bit denser, had a nice flavor. So you know what? If we can grow sky potatoes, fine. We'll just go fill all the edges of the land around us that's still all the trees are left, and all the hillsides. We'll just flood the place with sky potato.
Well, they're native to here.
They're native.
So it makes more sense.
Yeah. And we haven't found that they're toxic in any way. So
no, they're not.
Watch out if you're ever in an Ecuadorian market, or I guess anywhere in South America, and you see these beautiful little things that look like plums. They're about the size of a big grape.
They're like red and yellow and green.
Red and yellow and green, purple, right? And you're like, oh, that looks like kind of like a plum. Ooh, it's probably a tasty little fruit. People are like, oh yeah, there's a big bin of them. People are eating them.
Someone was just going to eat them without questioning what they were or doing any research. Someone else thought maybe we should figure out what that is first.
Hey, look, fruit. I'll eat that.
Spanish plum.
It's a Spanish plum. I love plum.
While it seems like a good idea, when you read further down, you find out it is the only other plant that has the
urushiol,
that
the active ingredient in poison ivy, the thing that we are both absolutely deathly sensitive allergic to, which was why we had to leave Tennessee. Love Tennessee. It's a great place. Our entire property was covered in poison ivy. Some people they don't really care. It doesn't affect them. It was the worst game ever for us. Somebody would brush one, and then it would they would step somewhere, and then somebody else would step where they stepped, and then somewhere else, and again, and a thing, and something, and then all of a sudden the entire house has these invisible patches of death that are going to make our skin blister.
It was horrible.
Even 5 touches removed.
So something about consuming a fruit that has it seemed like a poor idea. We gifted them to the neighbor and moved on.
Yeah, she just normally, yeah, but I have a weird feeling about that. Let me look it up.
Sometimes I have weird feelings.
It's probably delicious. Things. People are eating it at the market. Yeah.
Sometimes my weird feelings about things.
Yeah.
Remember the snake under the plastic?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you don't question when I'm just like, hey, I just feel like you shouldn't go send the child out to. It was a big pile to burn, and it had plastic over it.
You're
we're gonna take off the plastic.
And
I just had this weird feeling of normally, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think you should. Not really thinking there was a snake under it, but just being overly cautious because scary snakes. Was there a scary snake?
Yeah, there's a fleur de lance.
Scary snake.
Which is a pit viper, and it's one of the most toxic or something in the world, and very aggressive and big.
Luckily, you decided to take your machete with
you. Yeah, and I pulled the plastic, and it just
You didn't really think there was going to be a snake either, did you?
I did not. I did not.
Maybe not fully prepared.
And it was up there on the top of that pile. I sat there and I debated what to do for a long time finally, and I'm like, I'm going to maximum reach, and I'm going to swing this machete as fast as I humanly can. And I psyched myself up, and I swung for the fence on it. By the time the machete got to here, the snake, which was pointed sideways, had turned and jumped at me. And I hit it square in the head.
It was almost a really bad day.
And I split its head because I didn't see it turn. I didn't see it jump. That was between the machete going from here to here across my vision. And it caught it midway. And
at the time, we didn't know what it was.
No.
We just thought it's a snake and it could be dangerous and we should probably remove it.
Oh, yeah, it had a big triangular head on it.
It was not a little snake.
No.
It was a big snake.
Big snake.
Then we figured out what it was and went, oh, and then had another.
Oh, that's a real bad day.
Gosh. Real bad day. Real bad day. How are the tree tomatoes? Are they a decent replacement for common tomatoes?
All right, tree tomatoes.
I'm sorry, we have a funny history.
You read about them, you see them, you're like, whoa, tree tomatoes, that's really cool.
Seems like a cool thing.
We're like, oh, that's great, they grow on trees. One, they also have fungus issues. Trust me, people that grow them fight with them, and they spray them with all sorts of pesticides because they have fungus issues. Sometimes you'll get them, and they have like blue staining around the stem end, and that's like a weird blue color. You're like, wow, what is that? That's Bordeaux solution. That's copper sulfate, which is like solid, amount of copper, like that's a toxic level of copper sulfate, that they're just spraying all willy-nilly to try to keep back the fungus. But besides all that, say you get some good ones, we didn't like them.
Blech.
Some people might like them. Now, we did make a lovely salsa out of them, blended with enough cilantro and peppers and things and ingredients.
But I also could never have that again and be fine.
Yep.
I didn't need it in life.
So we managed to make something that was tasty out of it, but it was definitely work to try to cover up the taste.
And you don't eat them raw. It's bad.
People here do.
I don't like it.
Yep.
That's all we got. Have you tried eating sweet potato tops yet? No.
No.
I guess you never have. We're not big on the greenery anymore.
Yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
I'd rather feed it to the animals. They really like them.
Oh, man.
So.
Yeah, they go nutso for those.
So that's usually like, I'll let the goats through and eat all the tops, and then I'll pick up the sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And everybody's happy. Oh yeah, can you grow the tree tomatoes on your property? We probably could.
We definitely could.
Yeah.
They would grow here. Again, we're going to fight the weird fungus problem that they get. There's different remedies that people use for it, but again, you're fighting something.
And for the most part, we're trying not to fight things.
Yeah.
So as much as I love potatoes, if I can't make them work, I'm gonna have to just.
We'd grow a whole forest of sky potato.
Yeah.
Now it may be a pain to go and harvest your potato from 30 feet in the air.
It's less dirty though.
It is. They're not dirty.
So there's that.
There's that.
There's that. A new snakeskin belt. I didn't consider it first. I just wanted to get rid of it. I just wanted to go so far away. Just.
The head tried to bite and spit at us for many, many hours.
Well, that happened because I think we've killed 3.
We've killed
of
3.
Those.
They're angry.
They don't stop just because they have separated from their body.
Now, I have had rattlesnake. It's delightful. I've also had chicken, which was fairly the same level of delightful.
The snake seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. Could I have made a snake? Yes.
I didn't really want to touch the thing, though. It scared me.
So tanning skins and hides is an art form that we at some point would like to get better at and learn, because we've had a lot of like really, like, when you raise your animals healthy and good foods and lots of care in a natural setting, like you get these beautiful, like strong, like just gorgeous quality like hides, unlike factory farm animals. I've seen the skin's rough and they got dandruff and things and their feed was bad and it's all terrible. We're not there yet. We made it as far as the last pigs we butchered. We made our own sausage casings. We cleaned one of the sets of intestines and made our own sausage casing, which was the first time not buying sausage casing.
I appreciate the sausage more. You
do. You appreciate that sausage so much. And actually, it was really good quality casing.
It was really good.
It was far better than anything we've ever bought.
That being said, it added hours to the process. It just did. Gosh, when you think about it, you're like, wow, I guess what I was paying for that giant box of casings was pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how they
there's got to be lots of machines involved.
Yeah.
Because the hand processing takes forever.
It's intense. But our pigs eating a lot of clay mud and greens did make the intestines. That's one of the things we've noticed with our animals in the way we feed them. Animals we bought from other places that have more of either a purchased like grain diet or like flat-nosed things, usually just like other food, and you open them up to gut,
eviscerate.
Yep, all those words. And the smell knocks me back about 4 feet, like some sort of like shockwave. I'm like, oh, like just without cutting a gut, just exposing the area near them. And one of the things we noticed about our animals was,
I really don't smell that bad. It's the inside of an animal, but it's.
If I was totally in the dark, I could tell that there was an animal next to me.
It's really not that bad.
It was really not that bad, and this was a recurring thing that we've had. So it goes to the health of the animal and the intestines. which makes me feel much better about using the ones from our animals versus
whatever
commodity pig things.
Yeah.
That yeah.
I don't know why we started talking about pig intestines.
I don't go back to the questions.
No more questions. But the sweet potato tops are full of vitamins and minerals. Huh.
We may
might.
one day make a salad.
We might.
The salad dressing's a bit tricky.
Why?
It's just the oil.
Oh yeah. Or the vinegar.
Okay, so salads, oils and vinegars here in Ecuador. Olive oil says it's available. I don't believe it. There may be a spritz of olive oil in something else in a bottle. They may even call it real olive oil.
We've had a couple that I think are real olive oil. I think.
And if it is, it's probably the lowest possible grade of like super processed olive oil. And then those are very spotty to find. And then they like stopped having them.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of counterfeit products. There's a lot of like adulterated products. Vinegar was the other one.
God,
in the U.S., was it 5%? 5% standard acidity vinegar you can buy anywhere. You can buy it in a 7-Eleven probably.
Buy it in a gallon jug, couple dollars.
Vinegar, right? Absolutely incredibly difficult. There was only one Italian brand that we've only found at one store who no longer has it because we bought it. I'm
now completely out of it.
Right. And it's the only one that's been 5%. The other stuff, we open it up and we're like...
Well, when we first moved here, I made the silly assumption that jug of white vinegar would just be... I didn't check its acidity. I just assumed it would be the same as I had experienced
vinegar is available,
my entire life.
And you open it up and you're like, you taste it, you're like...
Well, no, what I did, remember, I made pickled beets and I canned them, and then I opened them, and I was like, you're not pickly. And that's when I tasted the vinegar and realized it was like maybe 1%.
It is so watered down, you can't use it for canning. And I don't even know if you can use it for a salad. Like it is just, it's almost water. Bleach. Same thing, you buy a bottle of bleach. Now your standard, I think it's like 2 or 3% sodium hypochlorite bleach, like Clorox.
No.
I can pour it on my hand, it's barely slippery. Like straight out of the bottle, like it's watered way down.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Oh man, and some brands are worse than others. So we've run into that, and it's not something we're used to. But
no, it's kind of a thing.
We're getting used to it.
Apparently, we're supposed to cook the sweet potato tops. Don't eat them now.
Oh, now you tell us. Steam them, bake them.
When have I ever steamed
I don't know.
How about a saute?
Oh. Yeah, you gotta like is there like a recipe thing, a suggestion? We'll look it up.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna soup.
We got a huge bed of beautiful like sweet potato greens up there. We'll dangle them in front of the goats and be like, ha ha, not for you. And then we'll maybe have some.
Look into the goats. That's so mean. Can you grow avocados on your property? Yes.
Yeah, so there's and we've seen some, although it's very not common here, but there is, and we passed one just down the road. One of us spotted it, and it was Eli.
What are you talking about?
The avocado tree.
Oh, that was in Yanzaza.
Okay, not far from here.
Yeah.
And
it's just like in the city.
Beautiful, huge, like
full of avocados.
And we just looked at it, we're like, whoa, it's this huge tree. And it's just laden with avocados. So we're like, okay, yes, they do grow here.
Believe that.
So we have some starts. We're still working on. We just not that long ago cleared a big area along the driveway. We're going to have a ton of trees like that.
Yep.
There will be avocados.
Yep. That we can make avocado oil. I mean, technically.
How hard is that to do at home?
Really hard.
Because I've seen there's like expeller pressing, there's like centrifugal, there's...
I don't have any of those technologies. And basically just you have to press it until you got oil out of it.
God, well that would...
I don't know if that's an at-home project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could actually get the machine or build the machinery to do that on a smallish scale.
I don't know. I have a hard time sacrificing avocados to the oil, though, at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You can get good avocados here, and they're cheap.
Oh, they're so good.
We typically buy them 3, 4 for $1.
Yep.
And they're good. They're
really
not always
good.
the same. They vary in size, shape. Here's a fun one. So we were at the market, and there's always different avocados. There's some that are like, they look like a gourd.
There's big ones, there's small ones, there's
There's a
round
huge
ones,
neck on
ones.
it, right? Yeah, there's ones that look like baseballs. There's a lot of avocados. So we get these ones that are like longer. I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, they tend to be a little like richer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you were going.
And so I'm sitting here and I'm doing
This is just like the other night.
I'm editing a video, yeah, and she's like,
I was making guacamole, and I was like,
and she goes, here, taste this, and sticks a thing in my face. Is it gone bad? Like, what? And I'm like,
I think I actually said I don't know what this is.
Yeah, and sticks in my face. So I'm eating it, and I'm like, I think it's egg yolk. It's like you boiled eggs, and like you're making, and you smooshed up like some egg yolk, like to make like deviled eggs. And I'm like, wait a second. And I'm tasting it, and I'm tasting it. She wouldn't have done that with eggs. What is she?
I wouldn't have made you taste it.
Yeah, she's like, that's avocado. I was like,
I was very confused by it too.
It had and I'm like, if we could find where they're growing those, we could sell these to the vegans. This is absolute 100% a replacement for an egg yolk that you cannot tell the difference. And it's not made of all sorts of weird mushes and oils and things.
I know, but I wanted an avocado, not an egg yolk.
So anyway, so we could grow these and sell them as like egg replacement because they're nutritious and wonderful and natural.
No, boy.
All right.
I would assume palm oil is pretty prevalent. The lack of vinegar is unexpected. Yeah, I was confused about vinegar too. I mean, you could get it, but to just get white vinegar that's 5% is really hard where we're at.
There's literally one brand, and it's Italian, and it's imported. And the place that we were getting it from hasn't gotten any in months. So
yeah, I know Supermaxi has it in Loja, but we're not there anymore.
Yeah, that's 3 hours each way.
Palm oil,
I've never seen palm oil. What's here is vegetable oil.
That's it in
27 brands, the entire shelf.
The entire aisle of oil. I'm like, it's all the same stuff. I don't know why it has so many different brands and iterations and sizes.
Yeah, vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil.
Sunflower, safflower, canola.
And then lard of dubious quality.
The lard actually isn't lard. Even the one that says the Three Pigs brand, it's actually vegetable shortening.
I mean most people use it like in markets. Like you would go buy. Remember all the tubs of lard?
Yeah.
Stacked up?
Yeah.
So not in grocery stores, but in markets. Butchers. Yeah.
But in the grocery store, vegetable oils.
Yeah.
And then the cheese ball olive oils.
Definitely are not all.
Some of them not good.
Yeah, it tastes funny.
Any more shout outs from like people like, where are you? Like if you haven't said like, hey, I'm in blah blah blah, say hi, send us a message. Just let us know where you are. You don't have to be specific. We're not gonna like stalk you or anything.
Doesn't stalk us either. I'll try to find the video for okay, this is about making avocado oil. It only takes a pan, a spoon, and a piece of cloth.
Oh.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could find that, that'd be awesome because, I mean, it'd be cool to be able to do that.
That would be cool. I didn't realize that it was...
I haven't really, honestly, looked into it that much.
I did, and it was rather terrible.
Well, that may be like the commercial production.
That's true. That and
all
coconut
commercial
oil.
production is
and I looked up trying to like make coconut oil from coconuts. Like, there's coconuts here. There's no coconut oil. It's all imported.
I made drinking alcohol out of coconut water. However, the locals were making coconut vinegar like crazy in Asia. Interesting. Coconut vinegar. I mean, I've had coconut go bad. It kind of smells like vinegar. I can see that.
I can see that.
That's interesting.
We could never do that, though.
Why?
You would drink all the coconuts.
I know.
Coconuts are delicious.
My favorite.
Especially the fresh young ones.
I'm going to make no comment about that. None.
They're like, where's all the coconuts? Where's our vinegar?
I didn't need vinegar. It's fine.
Man, there is nothing better than a cold coconut on like a warm day, or if you're recovering from being sick.
Oh man, it's the best.
It goes down really easy.
Pressing cheese. I mean, I see that. I guess you just press it hard enough.
Well, cheese only takes, so many pounds of force. And we've made a cheese press. We repurposed our sausage stuffer.
That was fun.
By hanging a calibrated weight on the handle, which provides a certain amount of pressure.
And it was more like you came home and I was awkwardly stacking things on top of my cheese really uncomfortably. And he's like, what are you doing?
Things and stuff in a pot, and it's like leaning like this. And like, yeah. So we figured I had to calibrate some coffee beans and hang them on the handle, which had a gear reduction for the sausage stuffer. And that made the correct amount of pressure on the cheese. So we can make that. Heck, I have a hydraulic press somewhere, but not a cylinder. It depends on how much pressure.
Yeah. Do they have taxi or car services out in the rural areas, or does one depend on self-transportation?
Yes and yes. So
taxis will go almost anywhere.
Taxis will go anywhere. So where we are, it's like 15 minutes to the closest town. It would cost us $5 or $6 to taxi from our house to the local town, or vice versa. That being said, they do it all the time. It's inconvenient. Most of the people on our street do not own a car. Half of them have a motorcycle. They think nothing about piling the whole family on the motorcycle. There is usually a little kid either on the gas tank, like the handlebar up here, just like wind blows
bugs in their face,
or smashed in between mom and dad, and all you see are like little crocs sticking out the sides. It's like you can't even tell there's a child in between them. Totally
sometimes
normal.
Both.
Yeah, I think we've seen up to 5 people on a motorcycle, just like hanging off. Like,
pretty sure you're only supposed to have to take 2, right?
By law.
I don't think anyone cares.
In the city, they do.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll give you a ticket like
out here
in the city if you go past the Transito checkpoint. Out here,
they don't care.
No, it's people do whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, taxis exist, and if the locals need to go somewhere, and or they're older or larger and they don't fit on the motorcycle, they call a taxi. Yeah. And that's pretty normal because they don't own a car.
And taxis are cheaper.
Yeah, taxis are pretty cheap.
Not like in the States or
no,
pretty much anywhere else.
Like in Loja, it's at most like $3 to go end to end on the city.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like you just jump in a taxi and it's a couple bucks. Unlike when I just wanted coffee. I got stuck in Fort Lauderdale Airport for an extended wait over. And the only coffee place was miserably bad. I try not to hate on people. I can't tell you. I wouldn't even go to the name. Miserably, horrifically, in every possible way, from service to quality, bad. Dear Fort Lauderdale Airport travelers like coffee. So I'm like, I'm just going to go get some good coffee. I checked the old Google Maps. Just past the airport, border, there's a fancy 5-star, coffee shop thing, special beans, stuff that barista. Cool. My brain thought that was a great idea after not sleeping for I don't know how long. Okay, how do I get there? Was there a bus? No, there's no bus. Oh, well, maybe I'll so I check Uber, and I still had the Uber app from a job that I had a long time ago, and I checked Uber, and they're like, you want how much just to get from here? I can almost see it.
Well, this is after being in Ecuador and getting used to
it is
super cheap.
And then I'm like, well, maybe I could walk there. So I walk outside the airport.
Fort Lauderdale, what were you thinking?
It's 106 degrees by this time in the morning. And I've got my luggage. It's only a couple miles. Oh, nope, not going to make it. I'll die. It's not worth it. And then I'm like, well, I'll get a cab. So I'm asking about a cab, and I asked the SkyCap guy, and I'm like, hey, he's like, oh, isn't that just to get there? He goes, oh, it's like $30, $35. What? and then back. So this is going to cost me like $70
for coffee.
Plus my $5 coffee. I can't. I couldn't. And I'm like, I'll just live without coffee. So sad.
I like coconut, but all of the coconut water I have had tastes like sweat. Ew.
It should not.
No.
You should. Ew. We have a coconut guy. He's not our coconut guy. He's just a guy.
We call him our coconut guy.
Actually, there's 2 coconut guys that I know. One's a friend of mine. He's in Loja, and I can give you an exact like location. He refrigerates them too, optionally.
Not just refrigerated, but like icy cold.
It's like 33 degrees.
So good.
Okay.
Gives you brain freeze in the best way.
Oh my god. And then there's another guy here who comes from somewhere else.
I don't know where. Honestly.
Maybe the coast. And he comes to the Sunday market, and he's a really nice old guy. Him and his wife, like we've given them gifts and things and stuff back and forth. He'd always give Eli an extra coconut. He's a really nice guy. But they're the younger coconuts. The inside should be just sort of jelly. Gel kind of like it shouldn't be coconut meat yet. It shouldn't be sweaty. Gone bad. Coconuts have a shelf life. They don't. Couple weeks once they're cut. Like they don't. Yeah, if the top comes off, she's going. Like
the little cap, like
the stem cap.
Stem cap.
If you get it and the cap's still on, that's a good sign. Once that cap falls off, man, you better just cut it. Like it's going down. And as soon as exterior bacteria or fungus get down inside through that stem cap, it could taste like an old sweaty gym sock.
It's true.
Not good. Maybe good for vinegar.
I want sweaty vinegar.
Vinegar, I'm sure, doesn't smell great in its early stages, but no, it is sweet. It's just a little bit of like mineral. It's like this like neutral like mineral level to your body. Yeah. It is the most refreshing, wonderful, delicious. No, it is not. It shouldn't sweaty.
No.
No.
Friend who drives a taxi gets $30 at the airport just to let you in the cab and the mileage rate. Ah!
Where's that?
Ah! Just to like let you in? Ah! That's terrible.
Wow, there's like a door cover charge?
Sure, Indiana isn't an ideal place to find fresh coconut. That's true.
Oh, okay. Certain things don't travel super well.
No.
If you come to Ecuador and you get to southern Ecuador, you let me know. I will give you the GPS coordinate and the time to get like life-changing coconut. Because the fresh coconuts, oh my gosh, so good. Unbeatable. The only thing that comes close to as delightful is that the fresh sugarcane juice from the correct sugarcane, freshly pressed with sour orange in it, just a little bit. World-class like level of like flavor right there.
It's true. This stuff's amazing.
There's also a lot of ways to do it wrong.
You had wrong. The first time we had it was incredible, and then we made the assumption that all of it was incredible, and that was not true. It was not true at all. It was just sad.
There is a local guy. We did a short on him way back when. If you go through our old shorts and you scroll to like the old ones, he's got a whole like wooden sugarcane press machine that he like bicycles around, and he's like he'll split it and things and feed it in, and it's got a little gas engine and it like crushes it right there, and then he squeezes some fresh juice in it. But he has special sugarcane as well. That one is locally grown, which is different than everything else.
Yeah, not all sugarcane is created equal.
Our valley has some of the greatest sugarcane ever. Like it's amazing. The panela that comes out of it, absolutely incredible.
Which is like it's like the brown sugar.
It's like a natural brown sugar, but it's more like caramel. It's
complex instead of just sort of a one note.
Okay, if you've had a Werther's original like butter toffee, picture that by simply taking up some of this like panela, which is just sugar, and putting it in your mouth. That's the closest it gets. It is creamy and sweet and complex and amazing. We met people in Loja, and they're like, "Oh, here, try it." They gave us some panela, and they're like, I'm like, well, we can get this in the market. And they're like,
It's from
we go out in the Oriente, and the Oriente, it's better. We drive out there. We go for a 3-hour journey to get it because it's better. And we bring it back just to have some.
And now that's just what we get.
And now that's just our local, like, variety. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some today.
We got some today.
Yeah.
We could show it. We could do a show and tell.
It just looks like brown sugar.
It does look like
it's
brown
not
sugar.
that exciting looking, but it smells so good. You get back in the van when there's a bag in there, you're just like, oh,
whole van smells
so good.
And it's like if I just pressed it into little pucks, I could sell it as just a delightful candy. I must be getting old if I'm dreaming of hard candies.
I wasn't gonna say it. Listen, I like it too, but no worries.
Oh boy.
Okay, real world math question. How many coconuts to fill up a bathtub with coconut water?
Depends.
Depends on coconut. Now, are they good coconuts? Then I can get a quart of.
If it's a really good
coconut,
you can get a quart. Sometimes a pint.
Sometimes less if it's just a total bust.
It doesn't matter on the size. Like, it could be huge.
Sometimes it'll be like, oh, we got really big ones this week, and then it's just
like half a pint. Just like, look at it. Look at it.
So mad.
And sometimes they're like small but heavy. The guy we know here at the local market, the Sunday market, he'll rifle through and
he knows how to pick them.
And he hands us like, that's a good one. He only gives us the good ones.
Yes.
He likes us. We haven't bought any in a long time because we're poor. But
miss it.
I know, we wave at him.
I know.
Yeah. So if you pictured, pint and a half is kind of normal.
Yeah.
To fill a bathtub, you're probably 30 gallons. Pint and a half. That's 120, 240. I don't know, 150, 180 coconuts. You wouldn't need it that full though. Because you're going to be in there.
Why are you going to be in it?
What are you doing with the bathtub of coconut? Is this like for a skin treatment, or are you just going to make like rum punch or something?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I don't know. It depends.
Oh boy.
That's a weird question.
I also knew you could answer it.
Who asked that?
Matthew asked that.
Okay.
The soil has such a big impact on the flavor of produce. Same wine grown in different areas can vary a lot in the final product. Yeah.
The taste of the place.
Yes. We noticed that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A fun one that we did back in Washington, playing around with compost. Well, there was the green
kohlrabi.
Kohlrabi is either gross and nobody should eat it, or incredible and sweet and crispy and lovely, depending on how you grow it, depending on like the calcium content of the soil, the acidity. My gosh, like it was huge.
The first time we grew it, it was amazing.
Yeah. So we started playing with, and then the boss at the nursery there had gotten lucky before like some chicken place that like raised chickens went out of business, and he managed to get an entire dump truck of their old chicken compost, and then it overwintered on top of that.
That was incredible.
Which we had never managed to get ever again. Anything that we used that compost on was just
I have never seen zucchini grow that big. It was the most insane thing.
It just kept going and going and going. They just like we used. I dumped a bucket from the front loader onto the Asian pear trees. Now the Asian pear trees produced, and they had fruit, a normal amount of fruit. And I went and I just took a whole bucket. I don't know, half a yard or something each, maybe a little better, and just spread it around the base, a few inches thick, and just left it. Then next year, those trees went nuts. They dropped like 4 times the amount of fruit. The fruits were huge, and we weren't there at the time. People were telling me, they're like, it was the sweetness and the intensity of flavor was nothing that they had ever experienced from an Asian pear. The taste of the place. The weather plays part as well. It's all
Yeah.
It all plays in, but the soil's big. So building the soil is like a critical thing. I mean, I grew up, my great grandmother always had her garden in the back. And I would, for lunch sometimes, she would just take a tomato. She always grew these big beefsteaks. And she always kept her own seeds. She hand pollinated. And she'd give me this big beefsteak tomato. And she just cut it into 8 slices, a little Italian dressing. That's lunch. I remember the taste of those tomatoes to this day. Nobody has ever given me a tomato that had the intensity of flavor. Now, my great grandmother always had her compost pile. It was out behind the garden. Everything went into it. She always had a little thing under the sink. It was an old milk carton usually. And all the rinds, bits, things, eggshells, stuff, it all went in the compost. All the compost went in the garden. She'd been religiously doing this for like 50 years. And she had kept up this like building this soil in this garden for forever. And my gosh, the flavors.
Yeah. It makes a big difference. Question. So you guys have been going through the process. Okay, if I just I can talk. If I decide not to go the citizenship route, when you get the permanent residency, are you truly done with immigration? Is it really permanent?
Yes.
Yes. We are permanent.
It's permanent residency.
That's it.
And some people actually we talked to said there's no benefit. That there's a lot of work, there's expense,
there's
and then
a test, there's a oh my God,
and there's extra things that you have to now comply with in order to get citizenship, which gets you a passport, which means you could tell your home country to suck an egg and take a left turn and beat it, if you really wanted to. But they tell me that there's actually really not a benefit to it except for that, and it's really not worth it.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what I heard.
I don't ever intend to go that route.
Yeah.
So I just don't think there's any benefit. I like picking fresh tomatoes and walking around with a salt shaker and eating them in the garden in the summer. It's true. It's so true. Oh yeah, there are dishes where you cook a chicken in like a bamboo, like a hollow bamboo tube. You cook it in a coconut. I could see that. You cook in a coconut?
Coconut's a hell of an insulator.
I'm not sure if it would cook.
It might. It would take a long time. I mean, if I wanted to send something from space back to Earth and make it through the atmosphere, I'd put it in a coconut with a husk.
The point of the coconut is that it can survive the voyage.
Yeah.
On the ocean. The ocean. It is on the ocean.
Yeah.
Float, 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 float until a new place.
How'd that go?
Float, float, float. That's what they do. They float. Making fun of me. Yeah, we're gonna grow coconuts. Our coconut trees suck, but we're gonna.
We've had it going for like a year, and it's got like 2 leaves. We're like, come on! Another one died. We bought it from the coconut guy, and they just.
I don't know what happened. It could be our soil.
The neighbors tried them as well. I think it's the soil. I think there's something.
Those did not work out either. They haven't done much.
One neighbor planted a row of them, and then the other neighbor did the same thing. And I've never seen them do much of anything. So I think that there's some sort of. Now we have palm trees.
They grow well.
Palm fruits.
Yeah. I don't know what
they're all
we've done
around
wrong.
us.
We've clearly done something wrong with it, though. Vampire bats, pit vipers. What other fun things do you guys run into? I mean, that's really kind of. I mean, as far as danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the ants hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
They're not pleasant.
No.
No.
There is apparently, we've never met him, a large cat that lives.
You've seen him?
Yeah.
On video?
It wasn't that large. There was a little one on the video.
A little one, I know.
It was bigger than a house cat, but not a ton. But they exist here.
We've never met them though.
Yeah, they most things here you leave them alone, they leave you alone. It's honestly not. It's not like African safari kind of crazy. Like it's honestly pretty easy.
Yeah. We have our paca. friends.
Paca's just annoying.
They're really irritating. I don't enjoy them.
And it comes in the yard when they're having like territorial disputes. I'm like, get out!
Freak out.
He did a short a while back, and he was like, he ran up in the yard again.
Well, I heard this. The noise of Paca's fighting is like cats and raccoons. That like just that horrible noise that makes your hair stand up.
They have an extra vocal cord of like deep bass tones. So when they growl, there's like a normal growl and this deep bass, like.
But their fighting is like a screaming noise, and then I heard it, and then like half a second later, the dog started barking. I'm like, "What is that? What is going on?"
Yeah.
And I go out, and there's a panting Paca in our yard.
So I run out real quick with a big stick and gave it a belly scratch.
Last time, spoon.
For whatever reason, I happen to have a big serving spoon, like a big salad spoon.
It was for the duck eggs back
for getting duck eggs out of stumps. And I had a giant spoon, and I like rubbed its belly.
That was before we knew how sharp they were.
Yeah.
That was when we thought they were cute and friendly.
Anyway, so I rubbed its belly, and then it ran off.
Yep.
That's like...
They're not aggressive, but they have territorial disputes and end up hiding.
They basically, like, if we hide near the humans, the other Pacas won't come and attack us.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
But no, we don't have anything else too crazy. Are there fireflies in the area?
Yes.
Okay, so the first time I ever saw fireflies was in Ecuador.
Yeah.
I grew up on the West Coast.
Big fireflies.
I always thought fireflies were so cool, but I had never seen them. And you guys made fun of me because I was just amazed by them.
The local valley here, it translates to the Valley of the Fireflies. And it's on the side of the bus. There's like this like big graphic, and finally we realized what the graphic was it's like a big firefly with a big glowing butt. And we're like, oh, that's literally on the side of the buses here, which is kind of neat. There's also some beetles.
But they're like big fireflies.
Oh yeah,
because we had them in Tennessee, but they were little. Here they're big.
Yeah. There's beetles, and you'll occasionally see like a glow out in the grass. Beetles? Yeah. And you're like, you're not flying. It turns out it's a beetle. They have a little glowy thing.
No, the fireflies are awesome. Yeah, there's no lack of cool insects here.
No. If you enjoy cool, there was a German guy who actually was here from Germany visiting. It
was random.
Random dog flipped out, and he was down at the end of our road, and he's out there, and I come walking down, and I'm like,
why are you here? Nobody comes up our road.
And he's just like, oh, hi. And I'm like, and we finally realized we both speak English. And I don't know what he does in Germany, but he has a side hobby of collecting insects and classifying them. And he does that for fun. And he has a whole collection that he's going to donate to some museum when he dies. And it's like a big thing. And I'm like, that's okay. Okay. What are you collecting? And he's collecting orchid bees. And I'm like, what is an orchid bee? Well, it kind of looks like a regular bee, except it has a magnificent metallic, like yellow, green, red, or mix thereof, metallic armor-looking color.
Which I didn't know it was something special, because I've seen it around.
If you think of like gold-plated armor, and you built a bee out of like shiny like gold or green gold, yellow gold, and you're like, these are crazy. I actually have a picture on my phone. He let me take a picture of a couple. Orchid bees.
Yeah.
Who knew?
We have all the bees.
But he comes here because there's so many cool bugs.
Bees and wasps and ants, and some of them are really annoying.
Yeah.
Some of them are just cool. The moths and the butterflies are insane. I never thought of moths as something pretty or interesting. I just thought they were boring. But here they're just
they're
every different color and shape.
Moths are like moths. You're like, it's a moth.
Big ones.
You're like, it's a bat. No, it's a moth. 8 inches across.
Honestly, bigger than some of the bats.
Actually bigger. But so many. The kid has 1,000 photos on his little tablet of just like crazy colors and shapes and things, and like all these, and he collects some, and he'll cocoon, and he'll take care of them.
It's Mr. Poops.
Mr. Poops was this crazy giant sphinx moth caterpillar of like all sorts of crazy colors that he kept feeding it its favorite leaf, and it pooped a lot, and then finally it decided to cocoon. And then he does this, and then they hatch, and then they like fly away, and then they come back every night for a few nights.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's a good fun kid activity.
Yeah. What else should we talk about?
Anybody who's recently joined, jump onto the comments, say hi, say where you're viewing us from. We're happy to answer questions about all sorts of stuff. Yeah. If anybody is feeling amazingly generous and wants to make a donation, oh my gosh, we would be appreciative. Things have not worked out as smoothly as one had hoped. Anything that we get goes towards either food or a roof on the future house. If you have the ability, again, we'd be appreciative. If not, thanks for doing this.
He says the first time my wife saw them, the fireflies, was when she went to Indiana for the first time. She was just almost hypnotized watching them. It's true. I think the first time you see them,
you're just like,
if you didn't grow up with them, you're just like,
they're like,
you see them in movies and you hear, but to actually see them, they're so cool.
Yeah.
And she also hadn't been around cicadas, so the noise took some getting used to. Okay, so cicadas. So we had cicadas in Tennessee, and they were vaguely annoying sometimes, and I was like, whatever.
Okay, so
our cicadas
we
are special.
As you drive up and down the highways, you'll hear like cicadas there, like there's some there.
They really just like this one kind of tree.
And then like a mile, be like, oh, there's some over there. Then like, it'll be another like mile or two, and they're like colonies, right? It's the giant tree next to our house right now. We didn't pick the location of this little structure. It was here. We're thankful for it. It's falling down.
We're still thankful for it.
When there's an earthquake,
it's real scary.
We jump outside and run away from it. But
man, the cicadas.
It is right next to the tree that the cicadas, I think they live underneath it, and they're just thousands of them. They are so loud, like ear-piercingly.
They seem to be yearly.
Jet engine loud.
They're not every 7 years or 14 years or something.
We have the annual ones. Yeah.
So as soon as it gets warmer and drier,
dry season,
they come out, and you're like, no. And you'll hear it in a bunch of our videos where we end up having to like try to time videos around the cicadas.
Like, oh, they've stopped. We have half an hour before they'll start up again. It's very annoying. Very difficult to try to like deal, because the microphone loves the cicada noise.
I have gotten very good at grabbing them. It is a strange skill I have developed. Occasionally one will get in here, or they'll be outside.
They're the worst flying things ever.
Boom, 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 boom.
You know those little bouncy super balls you used to play with as kids?
With wings.
Go in your mom's kitchen and just freaking hook it. And just watch it bounce off everything, break stuff, hit things, hit you in the eye, hit the ground, hit something else. That's how they fly.
They do. They hit you in the face always.
They have no control or motivate, and then then you grab them. They're just like they're just running the simplest program ever. Like they're not. So when
they're sitting on a wall or something, you just reach up and grab the little wings, and they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
They're so annoying. No, thanks. Is that $5?
Yay! We appreciate it. For every $22, we can get a roofing panel.
Is that what it is?
$22.40 or something. Yeah.
Oh boy. Plus screws. Oh, plus battens.
Oh yeah.
Oh dang.
It's not. It's only like an extra like. It was $20 of battens. Did 6 panels, I think.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
It looks really good. I'm very pleased with it.
It'll make it an upcoming house video.
Which we're working on.
Yep.
It should go up next week.
As soon as I finish it.
I said that with no confidence. We've had a very hard time getting our brains back after being sick. And it's like, we should edit a video.
She's like, you should go through and find these old clips of this and that. And I'm like,
well, I haven't written a newsletter. I realized I was supposed to write one last weekend and this weekend, and I'm like, my brain just...
One? we haven't done a lot that's newsworthy. Two,
Tired.
brain tired.
And by the time all the day is done and we're taking care of the animals and things, I'm just
We're struggling to maintain life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going down hard sick like that is
it's rough.
It's rough.
It's rough. I don't know, what other videos do we have going up? We're doing the video on how many animals you need to be self-sufficient in meat.
Yep.
Which is just an interesting mathematical adventure for ourselves. It's good to know.
It's good to know.
Which we sort of wanted to know for ourselves anyway.
It is. It's good to know. And it's pig math is where it started. Pig math is its own kind of mathematics.
You don't like it.
No.
You're very upset whenever I say
it's always upsetting. It's an upsetting mathematics. There's never enough pig.
This many pounds of pig. How do you want it? Well, but if I have this much of this, then I don't have.
Oh, just took away some sausage. Well, but we have to have the bacon. Well, if you have the bacon, then you don't have this. It's terrible. Let's see what else. I called for anyone who's looking to move to Ecuador. I talked to Paul Wilches, who does the moving of containers and relocating.
What is it? It's
Relocation Services Ecuador.
Thank you.
And I talked to him, and we've sent some people over to him, and he was laughing. He goes, I actually really like the people that you send. And he goes, you send good people. They're good to work with. And he liked it. And he goes, you know what? If you want, for anyone that you send over, I'll give them a free consult, and I'll do the whole initial workup for free. And I'm like, okay, all right. I guess we send him less problematic people than some of the other customers he gets. So we got a video, and I said we should do a video. There's some changes in the shipping side of it. Prices have changed. There's different government regulations things. It happens all the time. So we're going to do a video to catch up on that in the next slide with Paul. We'll do an interview with him in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're interested in moving, let us know, and we'll send over an email to him like, hey, this is one of our viewers. Like, be nice to them, give them the free consult, and he'll totally do that.
Yeah.
So we got that coming up. Paul's a good guy.
He is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend someone that I didn't actually think was a good.
Do this without him.
Gosh, no. Remember back when we thought we could just do all of it ourselves?
Do not think you can do this yourself.
No part of it. Not the visa part. Not the customs part.
You could move. That's great. The container and all the customs. That's its own little world.
Now that our experience was, we had every expectation of going when our container showed up, going to Guayaquil, but that was in some point in the COVID times. I don't even know what time that was. It was at some point in there, and there was a restriction of only one person could be there. So Paul's like, well, it could be you or it could be me, and I was like, not us.
No hablo español.
Honestly, it turned out to be good that we just weren't there at all, because we both would have just lost our minds watching the whole debacle and probably gotten ourselves in a lot of trouble. If I remember you in the customs getting back into the U.S. with the beef jerky, and I think it would be best if we don't interact with customs people.
She was a tart.
She was really unpleasant. But
5:47 in the morning after I've been traveling for 2 days.
Stuck in a dungeon for hours
and
in
you're
the Fort
in
Lauderdale airport.
And you're in like this 4th level sub-dungeon layer. No sunlight ever reaches. It was so
bizarre.
And
and they're keeping like checkpoints where you're like, oh, I've been through customs. They like stamp something and you think you're done.
Here's a ticket. Okay, now give us a ticket. I get a different ticket. Okay, go over here. I do the thing, another line, another queue, and I'm like, what this shit is this? And I think there's also construction, so we're there like,
it was more weird.
They kept serpentining through the airport.
Horrible.
And then this lady's like, well, are you bringing anything back into the country? And I'm like, no. Well, okay, like dump everything out. Great.
And we've been very, very careful. And we did all of the we were bringing back a few pounds of green coffee, and we looked it up. I even had like a screenshot. We printed it out.
We had the freaking printed paper of the customs law.
Because we're like, no, we can bring this back.
And I slammed it down on the counter at one point.
But
and then she objected to the beef jerky.
That came from the U.S.
And
it
she's
was like Costco beef jerky.
You can't bring this into the country. And I'm like, it's Kirkland's signature.
Country.
Costco.
I had to try to like calm him so that we could come back into.
She's trying to tell me that it's like from somewhere else. I'm like, no, it's from America. You know.
We should not interact with.
She was taking the only thing that I could eat. I can't eat in airports because a gluten problem.
I know. It was like the last of our food.
Yeah.
For us to just survive. Oh my god.
And I started to lose my mind at the lady in customs.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, Paul has had some issues with yeah. He's had some issues.
We saw
with a previous worker trying to like.
There's a story there.
There's a whole story.
We saw some murmurs of it and things, and we're like, "There's some weirdness going on." And that's when, like, I called him up, and I'm like,
"Yeah." He posted something on one of the expat groups on Facebook.
I'm like, "What's going on there, Paul?" And he gave me the whole scoop on it. It's shady. It's not Paul being shady.
No, it's one of his previous employees
who said they were moving to Europe and then decided to start a business using all of his contacts.
Yeah. Super not cool.
And stealing his customers. Bad deal.
Only work with Paul.
Some of Paul's contacts, they only have one customer, and that's Paul. They literally work for him. She didn't understand that. So this is part of why you use Paul. Paul knows people. Paul deals with people. He's been in this business a long time. Different people work different ways. There's the people who follow the law and the people that sometimes you just have to grease. And that is literally just the easiest way to get your stuff through, which is his goal. And there's certain people that literally only work with Paul. They don't have other clients. And yeah.
He's not shady.
Except no imitations.
No. Oh, thanks. I signed up for the Substack. Don't forget to plug that. Look, we have a Substack.
Hey!
Thanks.
All right. We have a Substack that is our sister channel. Anyway, it's where we push the overflow to of things that we can't discuss on the YouTube because they would cancel us, demonetize us, call us terrible names. Shadow ban. We've had some of that already. We've had videos canceled off of YouTube.
We won't say certain things.
Certain words. You can't even say certain words.
It's silly.
You can't discuss certain subjects, and it's really fun. And for a rabbit hole, if you're bored, you have to search for it. It's the YouTube
guidelines.
The YouTube guidelines. Pay special attention to the things you're not allowed to talk about. A fun one gets into like medical misinformation,
or just all of the misinformation.
Misinformation. Even though some of the stuff on there is absolutely by legitimate studies, peer-reviewed, published in papers, accepted by modern science as the absolute opposite of what they say. They have their own little like dealy bob that they're still following.
And because we want to be part of the YouTube, we will play their games. But in order to put out all of the content we want to, we will also go over to Substack. And we look through all of the different platforms. It's not the right platform for what we wanted.
When you read through the terms and conditions of all of the places you can host a video, they all suck.
I read through them all.
Some of them are really long and terrifying and horrible. Substack it was like a one little page thing of don't be a poop head. Don't directly
provable threat.
Don't do any provable threats to somebody else. And like that was like it. And we're like,
that's it? I can't remember that one.
Yep.
The most free speech platform that I could find.
Is it a little kludgy? Yeah.
Only for what we're doing. It works great for my writing because it's
great for writing.
It was made for writers.
Yeah.
But now, because they are the only free speech platform, they have expanded it to video and podcasts and things because there's nothing else out there.
So we get no ad revenue from that. If there's something you like, there's a donate button. It would be super appreciative if you could. It lets us continue to do that.
So we have like current event podcasty videos on there.
Current events of Ecuador. We have some medical stuff on there.
yeah, we've got more to put up. I also put up a bunch of either my writing or our videos that have to do with certain subjects. So like moving to Ecuador, there's a whole tab where it's all of the stuff about moving to Ecuador. Everything else eludes me currently, but there are different tabs for different subjects.
So we're going to do that. Like we were talking about doing a solar service,
Like
putting together, like a console. Putting together a solar power system can be a bit daunting if you don't live in that world, understanding the pieces, how it goes together. But simply getting the right design and getting the pieces to all match together makes the whole system work for your application. And that was something that I was looking at doing just as a consult basis. And then I have contacts that I can send you to that'll get you the best prices. So
you're still working on Substack.
We are still working on that. Working on that done.
Well, we only have one computer. So trying to do all of the things on the one computer around all of the other things like building a house.
We have one 11-year-old laptop that we've already like Frankenstein parts from some other things to make it keep going.
So we're doing what we can.
It's so slow at crunching video. When we try to make a video and we're just like, oh, it's just hours and hours and hours for like a little video. It struggles. It gets really hot and makes bad noise.
Yeah, I love my computer though. Say nice things to it. Yeah, that's what we got.
So yeah, there's the Substack. There's a newsletter. We have a newsletter. It's a fancy,
I promise it's coming back. I sort of flubbed it for a bit there. You didn't want. There was nothing we did. We did nothing.
It's just what I said. Blurg.
I couldn't come up with a single thing to say. I'm like, we've done nothing.
If you're an old person like me, and there used to be newsletters to organizations, things, and it was just sort of a fun thing to read about what's going on, something, happening. A few pictures and a recipe at the end. You're like, totally good reading enjoyment. You can put it in the bathroom. Let others read it. Put it on their coffee table. Kind of one of those things. She started doing one of those. It's just for fun. Share it around.
Yeah, it's like what we've been up to.
We can email it. Google will put it into spam.
But it does sometimes.
Because they are poop heads.
Google also really likes to, now they've come up with all their different like little categories where things will just live and you never know they're in there.
And you can't.
Sorry if I've missed anyone's emails.
You can't change the behavior. You can't this and that. No, it just decides. We know what's best for you and we're going to do it. I'm going to not rant on Google. They're a bunch of poop heads. They used to be really great back in the day. Yeah.
Poop heads.
Poop heads now.
So if you have signed up for the newsletter but you haven't gotten one, either that's because you signed up after the last one and I haven't written a new one.
In the last few weeks.
Or it's sitting in your spam or your promotions folder or your some other silly folder.
Yeah.
Silly folders.
Yeah. Do you keep archived copies on the Substack of the newsletters?
No. I could.
We might have a tab for that if we have room for an extra tab.
I think the last time I tried to put a tab in, it kicked the tab out.
There's, again, Substack is not
really designed for what we're doing. Super
ideal. We're sort of pushing it at its edges a bit. We'll maybe try to find somewhere to stack the old newsletters in there.
And if you read the newsletter, I think if you actually click on it and you like open it outside of your email, you can go back and read old, like previous issues. That was the word I wanted.
Okay.
I was trying to call them episodes. Yeah.
It doesn't work on my iPad at all. So
I'm sorry about that.
It's kludgy.
Yeah. I also have a Substack.
Yes.
Just for my writing.
If you enjoy just actual really nice like prose.
About whatever the heck I feel like.
There's on people and things and family and humanity and just the occasional like part of the human experience. It's a just beautifully written. It's brought me to tears on occasion. And I live with the woman and I hear her all day long. And then I read this. I'm like, oh my God, I want to like date this person. Like, I haven't married her. But somehow when she sits there and pounds it out and irons it and like forges it into her writing, it is just gorgeous. One day there will be a book and I will recommend it heartily. Her writings are actually just really enjoyable. It's just beautiful writing. So that is that linked on anywhere?
Yeah, it's in our descriptions of our videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look in the description of the video. brave verses.
Yeah.
Definitely good readings. Some of them may bring you to tears. Like, fair warning. Like, she writes about like events that like I was at. We were both there, and it still moved me so much to like live it through the words that I was just
Sorry.
laugh at it. All right.
All right.
Any more questions? Shout outs from like random places in Washington? Come on. There's got to be someone from like not Washington. Usually we have Canada.
Oh, thanks. You're a talented writer. I was a print and photojournalist in the Army and appreciate your work. Thank you. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. That's quite interesting.
Interesting.
All right.
What is that?
In Washington.
Oh. All right.
In Shelton, Washington.
Shelton.
Is that what that says? My eyes have clearly gone.
Who's is that?
Person. I don't know. Seems like I know.
I happen to know somebody in Shelton, Washington, who's trying to get their driver's license about now.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
It's a function of trying to like convince somebody to take him to take the test. He's really excited though. And then he just has to get the guy who he gave money to actually give him the truck that he promised him.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Stories.
Yeah.
Right.
Always get a receipt.
I like getting contracts, not just verbal. We've had that experience just a few times.
Scrawl it on a piece of paper, sign your names to it, put a date.
Something, anything.
Yeah. I can't read that from here.
I can't read anything. My eyes are clearly going. It's scheduled for the 20th. It was a pain.
The driving test?
I don't know.
Is that who I think it is?
It might be. It's so confusing.
I don't recognize. I hate the screen name thing.
I know.
Like I wish I had like I wish we had like double side like webcams, more like a Zoom meeting or something that like see people or names or things. Yeah, I'm just like I don't know. It's just like
No.
Yeah, random names. But perhaps I know that person. Which excellent. Okay. Why don't we call it last call?
Yeah.
Any other questions out there? We're going to call it a night. Happy to answer any other questions if they're out there. If not, call it good for now. It's been fun.
Yeah.
We'll do this every few weeks.
If you're mentioning Dungeons and Dragons, no, we're not. No. Mm-mm.
What? Family D&D night? Who's playing? No.
Don't wait a few weeks. I feel like I missed you. They're doing the news from Ecuador since one of the. Oh yeah. Yeah. We don't talk about them.
The people we don't talk about.
We don't talk about them.
Curious situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we just don't talk. We're
just not going to talk about it. We have some
we are very aware.
Very interesting conspiracy theories about what's going on that I called many, many, many months ago.
Right.
We're aware. We know.
Mm-hmm.
We know peoples.
We do.
All too well.
Yeah, we'll probably do some of the news from Ecuador ends up on the Substack.
If you want Ecuador news, you have to straddle both our YouTube channel, which
sometimes we do.
Sometimes, mostly no. We've started to move it to Substack so we can talk more freely about it.
If there's specific kinds of things you want us to talk about or cover, let us know.
Oh yeah.
As far as Ecuador goes, because sometimes we're like, I don't know, we're just here in the jungle.
Like, it's great.
Like,
It's things. It's a beautiful day. We're out. We're doing stuff. There's, you know. It's
but
like,
that being said, we do follow what bits of news we can find because we're curious people.
Yeah. Today's the election, so there's going to be big news related to that. I don't know how long it takes them to count the votes. It's probably not 3.5 months like California.
No, I think it's pretty quick. It so far looks like the vote is going to win. It was the last thing I saw.
I'm rooting for the guy. I really think he's solidly anti-corruption.
He's shown that he is.
He's come in and he started to hit hard, and he's got, I think, the equivalent of the deep state of Ecuador come out against him, including the media, which is usually a good sign that you're over the target.
Right.
He's putting people in jail, a lot of corrupt politicians. It looks very promising for the future of the country. Opinion of a random gringo.
Right. I would love if you did a walk through the market, outdoor market with pricing, also animal market. We did.
The animal market?
As well as.
Oh, good luck.
We did do a market video.
Oh, yeah.
Early on. We could do an updated one and do it with more. Well, we did with pricing, I think. Gosh, I don't even remember.
We did one, and then we came home and we explained like all the pricing.
Oh, that's right. It's kind of hard to film at the market.
It's loud and crazy and things.
Everyone wants to be filmed.
There's a cultural thing.
A lot of Ecuadorians don't enjoy it.
That they really shy away. If you pull out, and it's really weird. So in the States, people pull out a phone, their camera, that they're filming, and nobody cares.
Just ignore it.
Here, you'll get some nasty looks. People turn their head and like walk.
Even people that are like know us and are friendly with us.
Even like people like vendors at the market, and they just they don't want to be on camera. So we've really.
We try to be respectful of that.
We try to ask ahead of time. We try to do it as little as possible. And even that, if you watch some of the videos, random people way off in the background will like see us filming and just turn away. Didn't realize when we were doing that it was kind of a social.
Yeah. Faux pas?
Yeah, I didn't know how to say that.
That's why I'm here. Together.
Prices are pretty much the same as far as fruits, vegetables, things as that video. Now, the animal market is an interesting one. There's no prices posted. It's whatever you negotiate with the person.
Yeah.
Everything's negotiable in Ecuador. Unless it's one of like the big fancy stores, everything is negotiable. Except for Super Maxi. No.
Yeah.
Or the equivalent. So you go up and then you're like, you have a cow. I like cows. And they're like, oh, it's a big cow. It's something, this, that. You talk about it and you're like, how much? Oh, $1,000, $1,500. You'd be like, oh, no, I couldn't pay more than $300. You'd be like, oh, no. So you haggle. And it becomes this whole thing. And they have a price. They'll go down to, they're definitely going to start higher than that. It just depends. Different people kind of get different pricing, and then you work to different levels.
The animal market is sort of an overwhelming place.
It is.
There's a lot of cow.
We've never bought an animal there.
It's like 98% cow.
I can tell you for things like piglets, $75 to $100. Goats, $75 to $100. Fancy genetics, or you're going to pay more. We did that.
Sorry.
We bought some fancy goats.
I'm not sure they were fancy.
They have been our best goats. The cheaper ones, not so well. Your cows, I don't think you're going to get any sort of cow for less than $400 or $500. You might get a calf for a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Dude had a donkey that he paid $400 for.
Don't tell a child.
Yeah. It just totally depends. Like there's a wide variety. There's a variety of condition, of quality of things, of care. Yeah.
Trying to keep track of the safety issues in southern Ecuador, along with some of the politics, since we're planning on retiring down there.
Oh yeah.
We can do more videos, kind of updating on that.
It depends.
Oh yeah, we can do more videos though.
Yeah. So the short answer is
depends on where you are.
Yeah.
As far as the politics, yeah.
Very little of it filters down to local level.
It doesn't affect a whole lot.
It affects things like, so one of the things they were talking about in the national elections was, of course, going after like cartels, which are coming in from Colombia and Peru. If you're closer to one of those borders, expect to have more skirmish kind of interactions with them. We in the Oriente don't. We're at so far the safest place we've ever lived anywhere. Like it's crazy. They talk about things like the illegal gold mining, and they're going to try to get a handle on that because there's a lot of it.
And it is getting pretty destructive.
It's getting very and it's right out in the open.
We're not talking about like little like panning for gold. We're talking about giant machines.
There's like 4 football field sized mountains of rock 100 feet high, and there's multiple excavators out there in the river 7 days a week.
And it's illegal.
And so
it's so strange.
And it's unpermitted illegal like mining. You're like, it's next to the highway.
Like we all see
the police drive by, like, and
it's
they've been there for a year. They're talking about doing stuff like with that, which is good. There's
we could do another video on kind of updating that stuff.
Yeah.
Send the boy out with a camera to find critters and interesting plants.
He did. Nobody watched it.
You guys both did. Maybe you were the problem.
We had if you want to see one, there's a good one called our Friday Frolic. Don't laugh at my titles. That's a legitimate title. It was a good video.
It was a good video.
Anyway, search our videos. The kid and I went out and we did a Friday Frolic of photos. See, and I knew as soon as I threw the third one in there, you just laugh more. Friday Frolic. It's a great video. Mushrooms and flowers and plants and things and stuff, and like, and we had fun. And like nobody watched it. It bombed as a video. But there's like all sorts of cool wonders of like what's local.
Yeah, it's true.
There's some beautiful stuff here. Like it's an amazing place. We marvel at it like so much. We just walk outside and we just look at like the hills and the landscape, and we're like, wow, it's breathtaking. We're like, and we live here.
I know.
By ourselves.
What has recently happened on our property that we didn't tell anyone about, except my mom? Don't make me make the noise. The monkeys.
Oh.
We finally saw our monkeys.
Hey, it's the monkeys. Just
Clearly
all
late.
Swinging around.
Clearly late.
They were cappuccinos.
Capuchin.
Cappuccinos.
White-faced capuchins.
Which we've heard off in the distance on the other side of the river, beyond our property, around the mountain down there. We're like, monkeys. And then all of a sudden we heard them a little louder.
No, I didn't even hear them. We were...
Oh, no, you yelled.
Semi-sick still, and I felt a little loopy and stupid. Yeah. And I happened to, for whatever reason, look out the door, which is screen, and I'm like, what is in the trees right on the other side of the driveway? I'm like, what? There's monkeys!
And it was just looking at us like...
There were a bunch of them in the trees.
Yeah, I saw at least 3.
Oh, yeah, there were a bunch.
Yeah. And they sort of looked at us, and we looked at them.
And finally, they're like, I think we're too close.
And they left.
But it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
They're basically, if you had like a stuffed animal monkey about this big with like long spindly legs that you would just like give to a child as like a stuffed animal, that's what they look like.
I think they're pretty harmless.
They're pretty harmless. Their actual body might be a sack of flour. Like maybe.
Envious about our markets. Yeah. The market's great.
We occasionally see prices from the US. We're like, oh! It's like, dang. I wanted to do a video on eggs. Just about eggs. Like, what's the cost of eggs? What's the price of eggs? Why? So eggs here are, and they've gone down.
Did they go back down?
It's gone down. So it started out at like, when we first moved here 3+ years ago, $2.75, $3 for a cubetta.
And these are not fancy eggs either.
Commodity eggs.
Commodity cheap eggs.
And commodity eggs are commodity eggs all over the world. Like that's, a commodity egg is literally the same. So about $3 for 30. So 10 cents an egg. And then it crept up, and then it was, 320, 330, 350. Got to 350 for a little bit. And now it's crept back down, 325, $3.
Was it $3 today?
$3.
Nice.
So it's actually come down. So at $3 again, we're at 10 cents an egg. That would be $1.20 a dozen. And I'm looking at the national average price of eggs in the US, and it was like $6 or something.
Okay, so in Vancouver, Washington right now, a dozen eggs are from $5.79 to $10. Dozen eggs. And 3 weeks ago in Cuenca, 30 were $3.50. Yes. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes you question a whole lot of things.
Commodity eggs are commodity eggs. Basically, there's some space to house the chickens. Doesn't have to be expensive real estate. It's pretty minimal. They're chickens. And then there's the price of feed. Now, world commodity feed price is world commodity feed price. And that's pretty standard across the world because so much of it is commodity grain being shipped around. So why the heck is $1.20 dozen of eggs $5 or $6?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's extra regulations and you're paying a little more for labor. How much actual labor goes into each egg? If you've ever watched video of an egg farm and you look at how many chickens are there laying eggs versus how many people, there's not a lot of people. 10,000 chickens, no people. Oh, what about over here? Oh, there's that one guy who's like, doing some maintenance or, doing stuff. It's all, why are eggs so expensive?
So in Indiana, an 18-pack of eggs was $11.
Good Lord.
I can't. I wouldn't eat eggs.
That's like, what, 75 cents an egg?
That's ridiculous.
You pick it up and you're like, that's almost $1. When I was a kid, we used to throw eggs and toilet paper at people's houses. And at some point, toilet paper was like gold, like literal gold. And you would trade gold for it because you couldn't get any. And now eggs. In my childhood, we would hurl these at your house and over your trees. Like,
That's true.
They're not harder to make now than they used to be.
No, they're not.
Relatively speaking, they should be, compared to income, the same price. It's an interesting subject.
Eggs.
So, yeah. Or avocados, yeah. We paid $4 for $1 today.
I've seen some of the avocado prices.
Someone had a picture. It was $1.50 an avocado.
Oh, I saw like $2.70 or something. Or avocado.
What's a bowl of guacamole? $1,100?
Yes. We spent $5 on avocados.
And that got us a big bag of 20 avocados.
Yep.
It is like our one splurge food source just because it's both delicious and nutrient filled.
It's true. Oh yeah, there's that whole part of eggs. We could talk about eggs for so long.
I was going to do a whole video.
One county in Indiana had to kill 1.8 million egg-laying hens because of the bird flu.
Bird flu, you say?
No. Didn't we buy more foil today?
Comes with a free hat. Every box comes with a free hat. Yeah, bird flu. How many of the birds had the flu?
Or was it just an abundance of caution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what happens? Do they die? Oh, well, you just killed them all. Were they all going to die? No. They were just going to survive and continue on, and not all of them are going to get sick.
No one's ever explained, what happens if you let the birds live?
I've gotten the flu. Please don't call me.
Oh, I tried not to. What? Avocados were like $2.50 to $3 each today. Good Lord.
$2.50 a piece.
Wow.
That's 10 times the cost.
Wow.
We're going to grow a tree.
Wow.
We're going to have a lot of avocado trees. Yeah.
That's insane.
That's insane.
That's insane.
They shouldn't be 10 times the cost.
No.
I can see shipping and things and export.
Sure, there's some added cost. It's not going to be as cheap as it is here.
There's a lot of those are grown down in like San Diego. Like California has a ton of avocado.
So there's still some transport if you're
Pretty
not
cheap.
on that coast. But still, yeah.
When you realize how many avocados fit on a truck.
In Vancouver, Washington, regular gas is from $3.52 a gallon to $4.35.
Now, I will say on gas, they've been raising it a little bit at a time. We're up to like $2.70 for super low grade. It's like 83 octane or something. Like, ugh.
Vanny doesn't really.
Vanny does not enjoy it. Most of the country is at higher elevation. And because higher elevation, you have a lower compression ratio, you can get by with slightly cheaper gas. Okay. The van runs better when I put the other gas in it. But the other gas and it's come down. It was up at like $4. It's now like $3.50. And I think that the super, which is 94 octane, is really a sort of a world commodity price. I don't know what taxes are included on that. I don't know what Ecuador charges for.
I don't know.
Or if they even charge for. I think there is fuel tax included on that. So yeah, super $3.50 and cheapo stuff is $2.70 countrywide.
It's not like astronomically cheap.
It's not like Venezuela where it's like 12 cents a gallon or something. But diesel's cheaper. Diesel was
when it was here.
They were out of it for a bit. Diesel is, I think, heavily subsidized because diesel is important to a country's gross domestic product. You can basically look at how much diesel a country consumes, and you can tell what their gross domestic product is based on diesel usage. How much is trucked around, how much industry, how much this, how much equipment you're using. Like it's a related kind of thing.
All right.
Is that it?
Yep.
All right.
It's 10 o'clock.
It is 10 o'clock. We are going to sign off. It's been 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't see. Or is it just more?
Gas pricing.
Oh.
We had almost $4 at the height of pricing. Blech.
Yeah. Then there's the place where they sell it in liters. Oh my God, Europe. I look and it's just like, wait, it's like €6 like a liter? For $8 a liter? Like, what? Like, you people are nuts with your taxes over there.
Yeah.
Sort of loco.
Loco.
Anyway, well, we are going to sign off. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us and be a part of this. We'll do it every so often. When you see a thing pop up, join us for the next one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, and we'll see you then. Right after I figure out how to stop it. Here's the Lex.